Hey guys, this is the advanced CARS routine. So it is going to be a progression of the daily CARS routine from level 1 of Master the Kettlebell. So for this CARS routine, you're gonna need one small towel. You're gonna fold it up in half and then you're gonna roll it up like a little burrito pillow, just like that, okay? And we'll use that in a few moments. But for now, let's get started onto hands and knees. We're gonna start with some segmentation of our spine. Here we go. So come onto your hands and knees, hands underneath shoulders, knees right underneath your hips, curl your toes under toward your shins. And then let's start in flexion of the spine, rounding it as much as you can. Tailbone drops down, neck is fully released. And just take a few breaths here, trying to breathe into the back of your rib cage as you inhale. And as you exhale, see if you can round your spine a little bit more, push actively out of the floor. Inhale, breathe into the back of the rib cage. Exhale, more flexion, draw that rib cage in and up. One more time like that, inhale. Big exhale. Good, and then starting from your tailbone, send it up toward the ceiling. You're gonna go vertebrae by vertebrae, all the way into your fullest extension of your spine, pulling that chest forward. Keep pushing out of the shoulders, head comes up last. Good, and then send the tailbone down as you start to segment all the way back into your full flexion. Try to keep your gaze up as long as you can, and then head comes down last. Good, and one more time like that, starting at the tailbone. Lift. Segment all the way into your fullest extension, really pulling your sternum forward, pushing out of both shoulders. And then tailbone drops down, keep your gaze up, slowly get all the way back into your full flexion, rounding your spine again. Good, now we're gonna do 2 rounds, starting at our head. So keep your tailbone dropping down, lift your head and your gaze up first, and then pull your sternum forward, getting your T-spine into extension. And then your rib cage will start to flare open toward the floor. Your abdominal wall begins to lengthen. Tailbone lifts up last, and now you're in your fullest extension. And now keep your tailbone lifting up as you bring your chin down toward your chest. And then push out of the shoulders, rounding the top of your T-spine. Pull that rib cage in. And then your abdominal wall pulls in and up, and tailbone drops down last. Take a breath. One more rep like that, starting at your head. So take your gaze up first, trying to reach your nose up as high as you can, and then pull your sternum through your shoulders, really reaching forward with your chest. Good, getting into your fullest extension, tailbone lifts up as high as you can get it. Take a breath. And then chin comes down to the center of your chest. Really push away the floor. Rib cage pulls in, lower abs pull in, and then tailbone drops down. Nice. And then just come to a nice straight spine. We're gonna stay here in tabletop as we move through our SCAP CARS. So it's a closed chain version of a SCAP CAR. Start with your shoulders away from your ears and in protraction, so pushing out of the floor. Try to keep your rib cage from really moving and your spine moving as we move through these SCAP CARs. So keep your abdominal wall braced. Elbows stay straight the whole time. Here we go. You're gonna start your first rep by retracting your scaps. Your chest will lower a little bit to the floor. Then elevate them up toward your ears. And then protract, pushing away the ground. And then glide your shoulders down away from your ears, depressing your scaps. Again, retract. Glide them up, protract, glide down. One more time like that, retract, glide up, protract, glide them down. Good, pause right there, just reverse it. Glide back up toward your ears, then retract your scaps, then glide them down from your ears, and then protract. Glide them up, retract, glide them down, protract. One more time, glide them up, retract, glide them down, protract, and rest. Nice.
Now we're going to move down onto our stomachs and go through some shoulder cars, or a variation of shoulder cars, lying down flat on our stomachs. So this is where the little burrito pillow of your towel comes in handy. Go ahead and lay down all the way flat on the floor. Forehead is going to come down onto the pillow for support for your neck. Let's send the left arm forward first, thumb up toward the ceiling. You're going to brace your abs, try to pull your rib cage in and up away from the ground, and tailbone is dropped down. Then from here, take a big inhale, keep your body braced, nothing else moves. You're going to lift that left arm up as high as you can. Once you can't get it any higher, internally rotate through your shoulder. Start to sweep the arm out to the side. Keep lifting it up toward the ceiling and internally rotate more and more as you sweep your arm back behind you, getting into your shoulder extension. Try not to let the front of your shoulder dip toward the floor. Keep squeezing your scap onto your back. Hold for another breath here, lifting up with your tricep engagement. And now from here, keep the arm where it is and start to externally rotate through your shoulder, turning your bicep out to the side. Then lift your arm and sweep it forward as you bring it all the way back up by your ear. Hold for a breath. Don't lower it down. Keep lifting it up. And one more rep. Just internally rotate from there. Sweep the arm out to the side. Keep internally rotating. Keep space between your shoulder and your ear. Get to your shoulder extension. Really lift up as high as you can without letting the front of your shoulder dip toward the floor. Then externally rotate. Sweep the arm all the way back forward. Keep lifting it up as you pull it close to your ear and then lower down. Nice, we're going to stay here before we move to the other side. You're going to brace your abs, tuck that tailbone down, posterior pelvic tilt, and then squeeze your left heel toward your left butt cheek. Toes are reaching toward the shin. You're going to try to keep your tailbone dropping down. Lift the leg up as high as you can. Sweep it out to the side, keeping the heel reaching up toward the ceiling. Hold for a breath, and then sweep it back in. Do that 2 more times, keeping the hip extended as much as you can. Abs are braced. Good, just drifting it out as far as you can, pulling it back in. 1 more time. Drive that leg out to the side. Try to keep the tailbone dropping down. Lower abs are pulling in and up away from the floor. And then pull the leg back in. And rest the leg. Awesome. Now we're just going to switch sides. So I'm just going to turn around so you guys can see. Here we go. Laying flat down on your stomach, forehead on the pillow. You can just bend your left arm and now reach your right arm forward. Take a moment to set your position, ground your body into the floor, brace your abs, rib cage pulls in, tailbone drops down, and then lift your arm up as high as you can. Once you can't get it any higher, you're going to internally rotate through that shoulder. Start to sweep the arm out to the side. Keep internally rotating as you reach your arm back behind you. Really lift with that tricep. Good. Find your max shoulder extension here without the top of your shoulder dipping toward the floor. And now externally rotate through your shoulder. And then slowly start to bring it forward. Keep lifting it up as you bring it forward. Get it as close to your ear as you can. Hold for a breath. Don't let it drop down to the floor, and then repeat. Internally rotate. Keep lifting up with that tricep. Sweep the arm all the way back behind you. Keep internally rotating as much as you can. Good. Hold for a breath there in that shoulder extension. See if you can lift a little higher. And externally rotate. Sweep that arm all the way back forward. Keep externally rotating, trying to spiral that bicep up toward the ceiling. Lift as high as you can, and rest. Good. Now you can just bend that arm, pull the rib cage in from the floor, tailbone stays dropped down in that posterior tilt, and now squeeze your right heel toward your right butt cheek, toes are flexed toward the shin. Take a moment to brace your body. Exhale, try to lift that knee up as high as you can, extending your hip, really using your hamstring. Then drive the leg out to the side, getting as much abduction as you can. Hold for a breath, and then pull it back in. Keep it lifted. Do that 2 more times. Abducting. Keep your hamstring fired up, And try to keep your tailbone dropping down. Good, guys. One more time. Drive that leg out to the side. Keep feeling out that hamstring as you pull it in. And rest. Nice. Awesome. Next, we're going to go into some T-spine rotations. And for this, we're going to stand up. You can just move the towel off to the side. We're going to stand up and get into a split stance position. So, you're going to put your right foot forward, left foot back with the heel popped up. Find a posterior pelvic tilt, dropping your tailbone down. And just feel out a nice stretch in the front of that left hip as you really tilt that tailbone down toward the floor. Now cross your hands over your chest, drop the shoulders down away from your ears, pull the rib cage in and back, and elbows start to pull in and down. Hold here for a breath, see if you can pull the rib cage in a little further, flexing your T-spine a little more. Good, and then you're gonna keep your hips square to the front as you rotate to your right, trying to get as far as you can, rotating through that rib cage. Then drop your right shoulder blade back toward your right back pocket, extending the left side of your torso. Then start to lift your T-spine up, extending your T-spine, going all the way across the ceiling to that left top corner, really reaching up through your sternum. Left shoulder blade reaches down and back, and then pull the elbows and rib cage back in, going back through flexion into your center. And we have one more rep like that, slowly rotating to the right as far as you can. Keep that tailbone dropping down, legs are active. Right shoulder blade drops toward your right back pocket, and then lift the sternum up, extending your T-spine. Try to keep that posterior tilt as you move through your T-spine extension, going all the way across to that left top corner, and then drop that shoulder blade back toward your left back pocket. Then pull the rib cage in, elbows draw in and down, get into flexion again, rotate back to center, and then lift up to a nice tall spine. Awesome. You're gonna just step your feet together here. We're gonna go through one rep of a hip car with the left leg as your working leg, right leg as your standing leg. I want you to just bring both arms straight out in front of you and protract your scaps forward. Lift your left knee up as high as you can, standing strong on that right leg. Good. Take a moment, see if you can lift the knee a little higher. Then drive that leg out to the side. Once you can't get it any further, drop the knee down a little bit and start to internally rotate through your hip, driving your heel back behind you. Keep the rib cage pulling in, scaps reaching forward, tailbone dropping down, get into your hip extension. Really keep squeezing your calf in toward your hamstring and driving that heel back. Good, now reverse it, driving that leg out to the left. Abducting your hip, just like we did on the floor. Then externally rotate through your hip, driving your knee up toward the ceiling. Keep lifting it up as you start to pull it forward into your hip flexion again. Reach it all the way up as high as you can, and lower down. Nice, okay. We're gonna turn around for the other side. Starting with that split stance position for the T-spine rotations. So have the legs bent, tailbone drop down, back heel is popped up. Our left leg is forward now, and we're gonna rotate to the left. Cross your arms over your chest. Have your opposite hand on top so it feels different for you. And here we go. Rib cage pulls in and back. Elbows pull down and in, get into your T-spine flexion. And then rotate to your left. Getting as far as you can with that T-spine rotation. And then drop that left shoulder blade down toward your left back pocket. Lift your sternum up to your T-spine extension. Keep your tailbone dropping down. Reach as high as you can with that sternum. Go all the way across the ceiling. Right shoulder blade reaches back toward your right back pocket now. And then pull the elbows down. Rib cage pulls in. And rotate all the way back to center. And one more rep in that direction. Try to hold your pelvis, your hips, your legs as stable as possible. Drop the shoulder blade back. Lengthening that right side of your torso, and then lift your sternum up to your T-spine extension. Go all the way across to the right top corner. Drop that right shoulder blade back toward your right back pocket, And then elbows pull down, rib cage pulls in and back. Get into your flexion and get all the way back to your center. Lift your chest and step your feet together. We have one hip cart on the right leg now. Left leg is your standing leg. Reach both arms forward, hands and fists. Protract your scaps, but make sure your shoulders aren't hiking up. Drop them down away from your ears. Shift your weight to your left leg and drive that right knee up as high as you can. And just take a moment here, see if you can lift it up a little higher, pulling that knee up toward your right arm. Then drive the leg out to the right, abducting your hip. Once you can't get it any further without shifting your pelvis, you're going to drop the knee down a little bit and internally rotate through your hip. Keep internally rotating, driving the heel back. Keep that tailbone dropping down as you squeeze your heel back behind you and calf to your hamstring. Good, and now to reverse it, drive that right leg up and out to the right as far as you can. Then start to externally rotate through your hip, getting that knee up as high as possible. Keep pulling it up as you bring it all the way in front of you, and then rest. Nice. Okay guys, now we're gonna come down for some ankle work. So you're gonna come down into what we call the combat position, or you can also come down into this half kneeling position to do this. Either way is fine. So this half kneeling position is a modified version, or you're gonna come down and set yourself up like this with your butt sitting on your left heel and your right foot is gonna be in front of you. Now we're gonna do some closed chain ankle cars to finish up here. So you're gonna just place your hands on your knee or hands on the floor, whatever works best for you. And we're gonna start by lifting the big toe side of the foot as high as you can from the floor, grounding down through the pinky edge. Then you're gonna shift your weight forward as far as possible, trying to bring that knee as far forward of your toes as you can without lifting your heel. Then you're gonna shift to your big toe side. Pinky side of your foot tries to lift away from the ground. And then you're gonna push the big toe down to drive yourself back. Okay, and then lift big toe side again. Pull yourself forward. And then ground the big toe side, lift the pinky side. Push yourself back. We'll do that one more time in that direction. So big toe side lifts. Pull yourself forward, get into your dorsiflexion. And then ground the big toe side, pinky edge lifts, and push away the floor. Good, now keep the big toe side grounded and drive your knee forward again as far as possible. Then pinky side grounds, big toe side lifts, and push yourself away. Good, 2 more times like that. Shift to your big toe side, drive your knee forward, pull yourself into dorsiflexion. Pinky toe grounds, big toe side tries to lift, and push yourself away. 1 more time. Big toe side grounds, pull yourself forward, pinky side, and push away. Nice. Good. And then just shift your foot forward a little bit. Lift up into as much dorsiflexion as you can. Put your hands on the sides of your shin, and you're going to just rotate your tibia bone internally and externally. So trying to get the whole shin bone to rotate and your foot follows. So it's that little part of your knee where your shin bone, your tibia, inserts into your knee joint. That's your tibial tubercalis, and you're going to try to rotate there, swiveling on your heel, and do about 4 or 5 reps in each direction, keeping your knee steady. Good. Okay, and then we're just going to do all that on the other side. So switch your position. Here we go. So either combat position, or like I said, you can be in a half kneeling position as well. So now from here, what you're going to do is start with the big toe side lifting up from the floor, pinky side grounds down. Then you're going to shift your weight forward as far as you can. Shift your weight now to your big toe side and push away the floor. Do that 2 more times in that direction. So pinky toe side grounds down, big toe side is lifting. Drive your knee forward as far as possible, and then switch to your big toe edge of your foot and push yourself away, decreasing that dorsiflexion. 1 more time. Big toe side lifts. Get as much dorsiflexion as you can. And then pinky side lifts. Push yourself away. Good. Now keep the big toe side grounded. Pull yourself forward. And then Pinky side grounds, big toe side lifts, push yourself away. 2 more in that direction. Big toe side grounds, pull yourself forward. Pinky side grounds, big toe lifts, push yourself away. 1 more time, big toe side grounds down, pull yourself forward. Pinky side grounds down, push yourself away. Okay, and now we have those tibia rotations on the left side. So you're just gonna shift your heel forward a little bit, lift all toes up toward your shin, and then you can place your hand on your knee or on the side of your shin and calf to really get that rotation happening at your shin bone, where your shin inserts up into your knee joint. Good, and your foot just follows along. These are your knee capsule rotations, and you're just trying to get as much rotation side to side happening at the shin bone. It's not a lot of rotation, but you do have 10 to 12 degrees of rotation at the knee joint, so it's important to mobilize that as well. Good. Once you've done about 5 reps in each direction, you can rest. And then we're just gonna finish up with neck cars. We are gonna do these in a tabletop position. So just like how we started with our segmented cat-cow, you're just gonna get into hands and knees, shifting your chest nice and forward so you have a nice open position. Actually, I'm just gonna turn sideways so you guys can see me a little bit better from here. Okay, so for the neck car, you're gonna keep your spine nice and long, rib cage pulled in, abs braced, arms stay straight, pushing out of the floor. Bring your chin down toward the center of your chest, nothing else moves. And then trace toward your left shoulder along your left collarbone, getting your chin as close to your shoulder as you can. Bring your left ear toward your left shoulder blade then, tilting your ear back and trying to lengthen the front right side of your neck. Then start to lift your nose up to the left top corner of the room. You're gonna make the biggest circle you can, going all the way across to the right top corner. And then shift your right ear toward your right shoulder blade. Chin comes toward your right shoulder. And then trace your chin all the way across your collarbone, back to center. Good, just 1 more in that direction. Going to the left. Chin traces toward your shoulder. Dip the ear back. Good, and then get the chin to lift. Reach all the way across to the right top corner. And then right ear dips back toward your right shoulder blade. Chin comes down toward your right shoulder joint. Trace your chin all the way to the center of your chest. And now we have 2 in the opposite direction. So go to your right. Making sure that the rest of the spine doesn't move. So just make sure everything is staying engaged. You're still pushing out of the floor. Abs are still braced. We just have our center of gravity, or our angle of gravity, working at a different angle than we usually do with our neck cars. So we're working against our extension a lot more. Gravity is working against the back of our neck. So this is definitely more challenging to lift your head without extending your T-spine. Good. Finish up this last rep. Get back to the center with the chin at the center of your chest. And then you can lift your head to neutral and rest. Great, guys. So that is the advanced CARS routine. You're going to do this pretty frequently through the level 2 program. So familiarize yourself with it. Let me know if you have any questions. And yeah, enjoy those juicy joints.